This is Councilman Holmes. Is everyone on?
Yes, sir. It's
All right.
Michael.
Okay. Morning.
Morning.
Was an agenda sent out?
I don't know. Hey, Michael, it's Megan. I'm not sure if one was sent out, but I just went to the website, the Legistar, and it is there. There's only one. It's the community gardens, which I think is, Mike, that's probably what you're on for.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. This is Councilmember Wesley Hudson. I would like to call the March meeting of Prosperity and Livability Committee to order. I am present in council as well as our city managers and clerks. I'd like to call the roll for our remote members. Michael Holmes, are you with us?
I am, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Cyril Jefferson?
Chairman Hudson, present and accounted for.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Peters, are you with us? Monica Peters, are you with us? Hopefully have Monica in a minute. We do have a quorum, so I'll call us to order. And our first item is an update on our community gardens. And I will, and the grants we give with that, pass over to Mr. Mike McNair, I believe.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Just like to briefly introduce our main presenter. Keno Weber-Shirk is with the County Extension Services Department, and she's also serves as our Community Garden Coordinator. She will present a report to you on an annual basis. We've been doing this since 2018, I believe. But without further delay, Keena, I believe, is online. I'll let her take it from there.
Good morning, Council. Thanks for having us today. We have two updates about community gardens and urban agriculture that we'd like to share with your committee. The first, as Mike McNair mentioned, is I want to share an update about the Community Garden Assistance Program that the City of High Point supports. And I'll go into that in a little bit. And then the second is that we've been working in collaboration to put together a website for the City of High Point that will live on the High Point Public Library's page dedicated to urban agriculture and all of the ways that the City of High Point supports and encourages urban agriculture within the city limits. And for that discussion, we're joined by two other people. Mark Taylor, librarian at High Point Public Library, who really kind of was the inspiration and instigator for the project. We'll introduce that. And then Cassidy McFeely's joining us. She's a freshman at High Point University and a Bonner student who has been giving service to us and putting together the draft of the website. So she'll help us when we get to that point, walk through the website as it is now. And what we're really hoping for your input in that part of the presentation is the website is a draft now, but we're hoping by the end of March for it to go live. So your questions about, are things clear? Should they be organized differently? Are there things that are missing? That kind of insight from your perspectives will be really helpful. But I'll start by sharing an update from the Community Garden Assistance Grant. And this is part of my role in supporting community gardens in High Point. I've been in this position for 3 years now, and it's been incredible how supportive the City of High Point is. The grant predates me, so this is an assistance program that community gardens within the city limits of High Point can apply for. And most of what gardens are applying for are material assistance from Ingleside Compost Facility. So I want to give a few key updates from that, and I hope that all of you were able to access the grant report in full. That's something I sent out. But a few key highlights that I wanted to pull out. Between July 2019 and June 2020, the City of High Point provided assistance to 12 community gardens and urban farms through the Community Garden Assistance Grant. That was 87.12 tons of material, a combination of topsoil, compost, and mulch. And that was a cost to the city of $1,867.99. And last March, the City of High Point City Council amended the grant to include reimbursement for delivery charges. And this was because of feedback from gardens that a number of community garden leaders didn't have access to trucks or trailers to transport material themselves. So since passing that last March, between March and June 2020, which is the fiscal period I'm reporting to you all on today, the city reimbursed delivery costs of $435.06. So total for last fiscal year, the City of High Point spent $2,303.05 on the Community Garden Assistance Program. And it's had a tremendous impact. So despite the closures and limitations associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, 68 adults and 42 youth were actively involved in these 12 community gardens and urban farms. It's 110 individuals that were part of a number of different groups in High Points, including Boy Scouts, youth from surrounding neighborhoods, additional neighbors of all ages, neighborhood associations like the Burns Hill Neighborhood Association, local church groups, volunteers, excuse me, volunteers through Growing High Point, and volunteers through High Point University. The estimated harvest for these gardens was pretty significant. In urban agricultural yields from community gardens can be estimated at about 1.2 pounds per square foot, with a dollar value of about $3. So these 12 community gardens and urban farms cultivated 38,448 square feet, or about 0.88 of an acre. And that means that the yield from these gardens can be estimated at 46,137 pounds of fresh produce every year, with a dollar value of 115,344. The most common vegetables that were grown in the community gardens were split between cool season crops that are grown this time of year and in the fall, and then warm season crops. Most popularly grown were collard greens, beets, mixed greens, lettuce, tomatoes, peppers, okra, beans, summer squash and zucchini, and cucumbers. But they're really diversified. Additional produce included, cantaloupe, carrots, microgreens, raspberries, blackberries, herbs, cut flowers. A real range of things are growing in our city. And the harvest is used in a variety of ways. All of the community gardens and urban farms donated at least a portion of their produce. 3 community gardens, Bountiful Harvest, Beeson Community Garden, and Burns Hill, donated 100% of their total harvest. And this fresh produce was donated and shared with community members in High Point in a number of ways. So a significant portion was shared through the Growing High Point Food Hub and delivered in fresh produce.
This fresh produce.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry, I'll keep going, but please do interrupt if you have questions. As well as the fresh produce was shared with Reverend Clorinda Crawford in the Highland Mills neighborhood, Open Door Ministries, the Burns Hill Food Pantry, and the Ward Street Food Pantry. In addition, a number of the community gardens raised fresh produce for personal or household meals. So 4 of the community gardens are neighborhood allotment gardens where neighbors can grow their own food. And that includes Southside Community Garden, East Ave Community Garden, Cedar Street Community Garden, and Howard Street. And then the last significant way that produce was shared was through farmers markets or fresh food stands. So the 5 urban farms received assistance through this grant, and they all sold between 50 and 90% of their harvest, donating that remaining portion at the High Point Farmers Market or through the Growing High Point Food Hub. And then the last piece of the assistance grant that I would invite you all to look at on your own is that the gardens shared successes and challenges, kind of a narrative update at the end. And I think a key piece to share with this committee is that all of them expressed their deep gratitude for assistance from the city, that it takes a lot of input to keep gardens growing year after year. And the amount of money that the city of High Point invested went a long way. So are there any questions about the community garden kind of grant as it has been and the update?
I don't think there are. Thank you. Keep on going.
All right. Well, thank you. So I want to turn it over to Mark, if you're ready to share a little bit about the background to the urban agriculture website and your inspiration for it.
Thank you, Keena. Good morning, everybody. Just to give a brief background on what I do, because it all ties in together with what Keena has just said. I work here at the High Point Public Library as an adult librarian in programming. I'm also the head of the teaching garden here at the library. I've been doing this now for 7 years. About 5 years ago, the library successfully applied for and got a grant for local foods, local places. And one of the objectives we had in that was to develop some sort of a listserv that could be shared out to the community about gardening and all kinds of information. Unfortunately, at the time, it just was not a practical objective that we could design and build and maintain on the library's webpage. In 2018, however, I had the good luck to attend a sustainability conference in Iowa, Dubuque. And I came back from that thinking that instead of a listserv, what we really needed for the city was a web page. At the time, however, there were several other things on my plate, and it kind of got pushed into the back corner until about a year and a half ago. Once COVID hit last year, that idea became front and center as I realized just how many places on the city's website you have to go to collect information to start up a garden or be a community garden or be an urban farm. And at that point, I started having discussions again with Keena and several other members of the Greater High Point Food Alliance, and I decided that it was time for us to re-examine the idea of a web page. I didn't think it would be difficult, just tedious in collecting the information. So Keena and I started having talks last fall. We then quickly included other members of the city, including Michelle McNair, and then proceeded to come up with a way to build a web page. And that was made possible thanks to Michelle and her Bonner student, Cassie McFeely, who has been really building and designing this structure for us for the last 4 months. And we are hoping that after today's meetings that we are ready to turn it over to the city to build the skeleton framework. And as Keena mentioned, we hope it's going to go live at the end of the month, if not a little sooner. I wouldn't be at all unhappy if it was sooner because the gardening season is fast approaching on us. But with everybody out there looking for something to do this spring after COVID for a year's time, this is an ideal time to bring stuff together from the city and from partnerships outside of the city itself that really focuses on urban agriculture in ways that we couldn't do before. So I'm going to see is Cassidy, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Good morning. So I'm just going to share my screen really quick. Let's see. Sorry, just a moment.
That's okay. We'll work on our end to get your screen shared as well.
All right, I think that should work. No, maybe not. Okay, so it's saying I'm going to have to leave the meeting temporarily just to be able to share my screen. So I'm going to do that really quickly and then we should be able to get on.
While we're waiting, Keena, on a personal note, it's good to talk to you again.
Absolutely. It's
I
great
just-
to hear your voices.
Yes, well, a year ago, actually, the last time you presented was our last in-person meeting. always look forward to our March meeting and hearing the updates. So I hate that we only get to see you once a year, but it's good to have you with us.
Thank you. And wonderful, Cassidy, we are seeing your screen now.
Awesome. All right, so this is our homepage. Here we have some
Just a
pictures.
second. Can you give us just a second, Catherine? We're working on, we're not able to see your screen yet.
Oh.
IT's still working with us. So.
Cassidy, this is Councilman Holmes. We're remote. We can see it remotely. So
Okay. There we go.
All right, can everybody see now?
We can. Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So here's our homepage. We have some pictures of volunteers from the community. And then a quote from a proclamation that we had found. Here we have a map of all the gardens in Guilford County and some more pictures down at the bottom. So then we have our About Us page, and that has the mission statement as well as the proclamation that I had mentioned. And there's still a bit more information that's going to be going on here, but this draft is going to be used for the framework. So then we have our resources page. Moving on to community resources, these are just a list of programs that we're displaying on the website as resources for community leaders. So we have the NC Cooperative Extension, Growing High Point, Greater Food Alliance, Second Harvest Food Bank, Ingleside, food pantries, and more. And each of these buttons, if you click on them, it will take you to, well, it will take you to an outdoor or outside site, but I don't think it wants to work with Zoom right now. So then we have city resources as well. We have the library, the farmer's market, and a few more programs down here. And again, each of these will take you to an outside site. So then we have our gardens tab. So here we have some community garden guidelines, High Point support of agriculture, such as the assistance program and the Adopt a Lot program. We have a page for ordinances, and that just has some information for people who might be looking to build a garden of their own. Then we have this page, Find Your Garden, and this is a resource for people to be able to find a community garden near them. So again, I have the map, and then these are just placeholder images. We're going to have actual images soon enough, but each of these will take you to another page about the garden, where it is, and some pictures about it. So then moving back, we have pages on our school gardens, and this one just shows some images and information about High Point school gardens. And then we have another page on beekeeping and backyard chickens, so I can scroll through those as well. So then finally, we have a Support Our Gardens page, and these both go to Growing High Point Food Alliance, or Greater High Point Food Alliance, and those allow people to donate produce, tools, and materials. So this is what we have so far. It mostly serves as a collection of resources and is designed to be user-friendly and helpful for people who are just getting started or who have been doing community gardens and urban agriculture for a while. And we hope that this will be a useful resource.
Thank you, Cassidy. Does anyone have questions for either Cassidy or for Mark?
Well, this is Michelle McNair, and I would just like to make a comment. Cassie, I think you did a good job, but other city departments that's also been involved besides community development and housing and the library has been legal. We've ended up getting information from legal, the communications department, who's really going to help us to put this online, and then the planning department that has helped us do some of the requirements and stuff that we need in the city for the gardens. And so it's been a collaborative effort with a lot of other city departments and some agencies from the outside.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any questions or further discussion? So you do need an action for us, a recommendation to take this to full council, is that correct?
I don't think so, sir. It's a update, an annual update that they provide.
Okay. Wonderful.
I
I
usually
love
get
seeing how the community gardens progress every year. The Burns Hill, I see the Burns Hill community really taking to their garden, and the work Jerry Mingo does there is incredible. Also, Oakview and Jim Bronner, both of those gentlemen have just really done fantastic work with the community gardens. Couldn't be happier with the program. So.
And so they also have a very important, I wouldn't call it a side effect, but it also creates community continuity because you just get that interaction. So we find that having those gardens has a very positive impact on strengthening the neighborhood.
Absolutely. I see that in Oakview and Burns Hill, especially. Those are the two I'm in contact with the most, but absolutely, absolutely a great fringe benefit. All right. If there's nothing further, I will say thank you all. Thank you, Keena. Thank you, Mark and Cassidy, for being here. And of course, Mike and Michelle, thank you all for being here. Any further comments or questions?
Chairman Hudson, this is Councilman Jefferson. I'd just like to echo that sentiment of appreciation to all those who presented today to present the updates. Incredible work being done. The website and it's going live will mean a lot for our community and continuing to fight food insecurity. It was great that yesterday we got to hear from the Greater High Point Food Alliance and with their annual update. And so, Keena, you all coming in today, I think it's spot on. And for our community to have several years ago been faced with the knowledge of where we stood in regards to this issue, I think at the time we certainly saw it potentially as a crisis, maybe. I think our response collectively and intentionally has done some really good work. So thank you all for being a part of that.
Chairman Hudson, I'd also like to share my appreciation for the efforts that are going forward. Cassidy, very well done on the website. Excellent effort. Keena, Mark, Mike, all of you guys. It's a really great effort that we're doing. Food insecurity is a real issue that we face, but I'm encouraged by the fact that we see some solutions coming from within those communities. And so that, from a foundational standpoint of building responses to crises, having it come from in-house is always an encouraging sign. So thank you for the work that you're doing. This is a really huge draw for our city that we can come together and solve problems. So thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Councilmember Jefferson and Councilmember Holmes. Are there any other comments or questions? If not, then if there is no objection, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all that were present. Great presentation. Summarily, we are adjourned.
Thank you.